Hello, welcome back to Heathcroft Garden. Now the last day of August, I'm pushing my luck a bit this month trying to get an update on the garden for August. Been busy, been away, but I've just managed to get it in. So yeah, as I say, last day in August, and I thought we'd take a look how the garden's getting on. It's been dry, very dry. You look at the grass, we've had some rain. The last 2 days have finally had some rain. It's been dry, very dry for weeks and weeks. We've had no rain at all, so all the big leaf, more moisture loving plants have suffered somewhat. Anyway, let's take a walk round, see what's growing well, see what isn't. Trachycarpus here went in this year. It's doing okay. I've been giving it water to settle it in. Here we have finally putting out some decent leaves after a really slow start. Bergmanthias doing their thing. Lovely trumpets. Can I get it in? There we go. Lovely trumpets. Smaller one down here. Lovely plants. Lovely, lovely. We look carefully in here. There's several more flowering as well. Pineapple lilies. Aren't they just absurd and wonderful? Look at them. Little tufts of leaves on top. Let's have a wander this way. Cannas are doing well this year. Been flowering for some time now. Stand back so you can get the full effect. Insect Aneba. Huge leaves now, which is surprising due to how dry it's been this year. I mean, if we would have had more moisture, I'm sure it would have been a lot bigger than that, but in some ways it's a blessing because I'll have to lift this at some point, pop it in the greenhouse for the winter, and once it becomes too big to manage, I'm not going to be able to keep it anymore. But yeah, just if I can put my hand in for scale. This doesn't really work, but they're big leaves now. Cycad has finished flushing. Pond is doing well. Settling in nicely now since I put it in. A bit more foliage and bits and pieces are growing around the sides to encourage wildlife. Two more colocasias here. What have we got this side? Another Bergmansia now going to flower again in the ground. Dubai palm there. Really wants to be in the ground. Next year I'm hoping. Next year it's going to be in the ground. I'm going to, if I get the chance over the winter, do some new beds, and I'm finally going to get it in the ground. But it's got some nice new growth in the middle. I've been feeding it a little bit, and as you can see, there's some more new leaves pushing through in the middle. So yes, hopefully next year in the ground. Just bob down a little bit here. This is Pseudophanix. This one is, if I can just move the leaf out of the way, this one here is Ferox. The one with the toothed leaves is Chainsaw. And right down the bottom here is Pseudophanix linofolius, I believe. Up there, if you follow this the long trunk up, is grassifolia, still putting out new leaves right at the top there. European fan palm. It's sulked somewhat since I moved it, is the best way to put it. It's doing well that now. Look, I'm more confident it's going to recover. The shorter trunk is now putting out nice new leaves. The taller trunk, if I can get that in for you just to show you how tall it is doing the same. It's put out a nice flush of new leaves, but they've sat like this for weeks, months now. Not getting any bigger, not looking any worse, but obviously it's sorting itself out. We'll see what that does. Wander this way. The echium is still flowering, quite stately there. Bees are still enjoying it. While we're talking about echiums, here's next year. Well, if the winter is kind and it gets through, just I can no longer walk up the path, but it's ready to do its thing next year. Send up a flower spike, as I say, as long as the winter's kind to it and it gets through. But yes, back to the one that's flowering. Fantastic thing. Bees love them. What else have I got to show you? Look at the colours in there. That time of year, you know. As I say, it's been dry, very dry. Nothing. There's a small banana here to show you. That's all it's managed this year. It's been in a year, 2 years, this one, and that just shows you how dry it's been. I've been giving it some water, but it's managed, I don't know, a few inches of trunk this year. What else have we got in here I can show you? The Shaphalia is doing well. Lovely, almost oak-like leaves on some leaves and more normal leaves on the other. I think if we look in here, you'll see there is actually two separate growing points down there, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But very nice, that's doing okay all the same. I'll show you one that's not doing so well, Shaphalia, in a moment. Tree ferns, still putting out the odd new frond. As you can see over the back, there's a new one emerging. They've done quite well this year, but I have been watering. This one as well, if we look in here, it's now the last day of August. Still new fronds are emerging. I think the trick with them is to make sure you water and to feed. Wander around here. Anyhot is doing well. Had some flowers and I thought some seeds were setting earlier in the year. See, it's top is split now into two growing points, but unfortunately where the seeds were, I've lost them. I went away for a few days last week, the week before, and when I came back they'd gone, so no seeds on that this year. Now here's something that's not doing so well. Shaphalia nova. As I said, I went away, it was fine. I came back to this, well, not quite as bad as this. It didn't dry out, that's not the problem. I think the sun was the problem. While I was away it was hot and I'd left it in quite a sunny site. I've had this before with Shaphalias. I can't think of any other reason really. It's not been overwatered, it's not been any of the other things I could think. I could only think it's the heat that's done this to it. Hoping it will recover. This was a new plant I bought this year, waiting for me to do the new bed. It was going to be his home, but hopefully it'll recover, but if not, that could be a fairly expensive mistake on my part to leave it in the sun, but let's hope. I have had Trefellias die before, Alpina, from too much sun. I'm hoping this one isn't going to be the same, but we'll wait and see on that one. Hanging baskets I did earlier in the year and hung from the tree. Some bromeliads are doing okay. Gunneria is hanging in there is the best way to put it. It's really been far too dry this year for gunneria, but there's always next year. We wander this way. There's a Trefellia that's doing a lot better than the last one we looked at. Rhododendrofolia. That's looking healthy and growing. Tetrapanix, Apify Rex. Look up here. See the smaller three-lobe leaves in the middle here. Point, where are we? That one there. It's like an indication, that's like a flag that it's going to flower, so sometime soon that will go into flower. The smaller, less lobe leaves are always a good indication it's going to flower, so that's about to flower, so production of big leaves for this year will cease as it flowers, as the energy goes into flowering. Let's have a walk along here. What else have we got? Brachycarpus here has done really well this year. It's putting on some nice sizable leaves now and growing more trunk, which is good. The gingers are flowering. All that hot weather, they choose to flower, and then the rain came last night and battered them, but such is gardening. Luteagrius, let me stand back. All its original leaves that came from the nursery would, you look at browning up now. Not too concerned. Palms, imported palms tend to do this, or palms that are grown in polytunnels tend to do this when they get outside. If we look in the middle, all that green lush growth is all this year's growth. There's a new spear coming through there and another one following, so yes, that's getting into a stride now. I'm hoping for a mild winter for this one so I can get its roots down and establish even better. If it gets really cold, I'll protect it. Here we have the red enset that was on my windowsill in the spring as a pot plant. Tiny little leaves just sat there, no more than 10 inches high. All this growth in a year, and it's been a dry year as well, so it just shows you if we had a wetter year, I'm sure it would have been a lot bigger than this, but it's taken on lovely coloration now. Tops of the leaves are mottled as well, but the underneaths are absolutely fantastic. Who's the best you? There again, you can see how hot it's been. I removed a couple of leaves yesterday that were yellowed and going. I've left that one, but it's not really had enough moisture to keep it lush this year. So there's always next year. the season's slowly drawing in now. What have we got under here? Another trachycarpus, that one's still potted. Some Spanish moss hanging around. Various underplanting. Swing round this way. Something else that's done remarkably well this year. Let's try and show you. Ricinus, castor oil plant. That was in a packet of seeds at the beginning of the year. It's really enjoyed its position here. It's show you, flowering profusely. Lovely, lovely leaves. I think I prefer the red ones. They do red and green. I think I actually prefer the red or the purpley tinged leaves to the green ones. Colocasias doing well as well. This way. Another ginger flower in there. I think that one's Assam's orange. Now this palm here, Brahera hamata. Look at it, fantastic. I planted that. Been in about, well, it was the beginning of the year I put it in here. And I think it's grown at least 8 leaves this year, maybe 9. It's like, doesn't stop. Look at the fantastic colour of it. Hopefully it's getting its roots down now. Settling in. And as I say, I've been irrigating it. They don't like to be wet. They like more dry conditions, but they do like a good soak occasionally. So once every couple of 3 weeks I have been giving it a good watering, and it seems to have responded well to it. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. Hopefully that's one to watch in the future. The cacti and bits and pieces along here are all doing well at present, as expected. Very dry here. This bed gets full sun all day, really. The agaves, they're doing well. Montana there, that was I was concerned about, is back to a nice green colour again now, so that's obviously recovered from its transplant shock. Yucca rostrata. If you're a regular there, you may remember this flowered earlier in the year. I've now cut the flower spike off and just recovering from all the energy that went into the flowering. Other cacti along here. That's Lirion. Lovely plant that is. I actually have one in the front garden at the minute pushing up a flower spike, which is quite a thing to see. Other cacti and aloes and things around here. So yes, for August, or the end of August, the days are getting shorter now. The garden's still looking very well considering how dry it's been, and it has been really, really dry here in Norfolk. As I say, 2 days ago, if I would have made this video, the grass was brown, totally brown. I haven't cut the grass for about the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's now, well, nature's magic. It's now going green again over the last day or two since it's had a drop of rain. So hopefully it'll perk the other plants up as well and carry on growing and flowering into September. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Much appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to know, leave a comment. And for now, that's about it from Heathcroft Garden, and I'll catch you on the next video.